You're tuned into the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Carla shoots straight from the hip with what's hot and what's not in the box office, the latest film news, and talent from above and below the line. Are you ready? Then let's get into it with your girl right now. This is the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata.
How did you become introduced to Pete Souza and his work, and how did those photographs that he shot of those administrations resonate with you?
Laura Dern is one of the producers, and her producing partner, Jamie Lemons, kind of came across Pete, was really interested in his Instagram. Then she went to his show. They teamed up with another producer, Evan Hayes. And it was really that group, they said, do you want to, can we talk to you about something? We think that this would be really, good for you, good for you in that you might respond to this material. So they approached me and like, who doesn't want to meet Laura Dern? So I
met her. I talked to her about this. So I was like, I had talked to everybody, but I'm like, I got to get Dawn.
I was like, yeah, I want to meet Laura Dern. But as soon as, so we like talked about it, and then they invited Pete to come to Los Angeles, and he just flipped open his computer and started doing his thing, talking about photos. Very simple, straightforward. And I literally started to cry. So, which gets to your second question, which is I realized I felt like I'd been holding my breath for like 2 years, like just missing decency in the White House. And Pete's photos just showed a humanity. And, as a Black person, you're proud of the Obamas, right? Like they just did that thing.
Yeah, they did.
But now that they're gone, I was like, now when you don't have something, you really appreciate it. And that's like Pete's photos just landed, just the inclusiveness. And I am not President Obama's perfect. Like that's not what I think, or that's not the point.
No, I get it. But he was presidential.
He was
presidential.
And we were proud of our country. You could go anywhere and hold your head high. And to go from that to where we are now was just so demoralizing, So anyway, so as soon as I did that, I was working on John Lewis movie, and I was like, these movies really belong together, because Mr. Lewis was always saying, if you see something, say something, right? And that's what Pete was doing. In his 60s, he came out of his, self-imposed quiet and started speaking up about what he was afraid of. So I just felt like a really great project to leap into.
It was beautiful. I loved it so much. You have this, and it's rare, and it's a very unique gift that a filmmaker possesses, when you can watch their projects and they incite a visceral reaction to what you're seeing on the screen. And in all three of your documentaries that I've seen, Bobby Kennedy for President, Good Trouble, and The Way I See It, every time I see those documentaries, I have this visceral reaction to it that makes me well up with pride, makes me want to go out and do something, but makes me angry all at the same time. You know what I mean? Did you give me 2 snaps in a circle?
I gave you 2 snaps up. Because that's the goal. Like, that's what I feel like when I meet these people, is I feel something. And so I'm just trying to like give people that opportunity to feel something too, but also like to remember there are good people. There are people who go into public service, not because they're selfish, but because they believe in helping people.
Did you end up having to finish part of this film while you were in quarantine? Girl, how do you accomplish that? I'm just saying, that's a lot.
So we were about 3/4 done, but we still had some big interviews to do, including a big interview with Pete, which we needed, even if I could get a crew. So we first we were like Goldilocks. So first it was like we did Zoom with Pete, then we did like self-filming, and then we finally figured out our camera person could send him a whole camera package, and that's what we ended up doing. So, and then the harder thing was we had to do all the finishing in COVID, sound mix, color correct, just things that you usually sit in the room with people for. We had to figure it out. But you know what? This is like where relationships matter. So I have used the same sound mixer for the last several years. So we know each other pretty well. And he even like sends me texts like just randomly. So he knows like my style, so he literally did half of it. He did his first pass without me because he's like, I know what she's going to say. Like, more of this, less that. That's too busy. Like we know each other.
You guys have a shorthand, yeah.
Yeah, and then we really saved our time because he is a guy who like mixes 2 minutes at a time and like lets you listen. And is it high enough? Is it low enough? Da, 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 da. So we did that, but he had already done like the first half of things. So I missed being with him, but that allowed us to get it done. And then same with the color.
Well, you got it done. It was awesome. Before I let you get up out of here, I want to know if you can talk just briefly about your upcoming project for Apple TV, the Untitled Mental Health series with your company, Trilogy. I love that you have a company called Trilogy Films, and it is mostly all women that work there. So if you could just hit those 2 points for me really fast before we get out of here, I'd appreciate it so much.
Yes, no, I appreciate it. So I am working, my team has now, my mostly female team of great energy. Jessica Condon is working on this. Naima Jordan, who's just a tremendous reporter, African-American woman. We have shifted. We are working on a multi-part series for Apple with Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry about mental health and mental wellness. So stay tuned on a release date. We're working really hard to get that out. I'm going to fly for the first time next week to Los Angeles. So
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you. So hopefully I'll be back with you.
We'll keep. Okay,
that's not even funny.
It's not, but it is, but it isn't. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for you, though. I thank you for taking time out of your day. I know with the kids going back to school and you trying to finish up all these projects and the press tour that you have for The Way I See It, I know it's been a challenge. I thank you for making that time for me because I appreciate you. I adore your work. I love lifting you up and other female filmmakers and people of color behind the scenes. I love lifting them up in the only way that I know how. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really appreciate the fact that with this new project, you're shedding a light on mental illness because people in the Black and Brown communities have a certain stigma attached to it. So I'm hoping that this kind of destigmatizes that in the process.
That is our goal. And thank you for saying that and for everything you do. Like, I just so appreciate you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye. To keep up with the Curvy Critic, like our page here, click that subscribe button and click that bell for notifications. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.